Thank you so much for the lecture. And my question is, we've been talking about exponential thinking, and it seems clear to me that this kind of thinking boils down to the prediction of the future. So my question is whether the findings from the cultural trends through the exploring of the society and of cultural patterns can be used in order to predict the future, in order to think in this kind of exponential thinking. Okay?
Yes, it's a brilliant question, very insightful question. And the answer is yesterday. And it really is a good question, and the answer really is yesterday. So there's a whole area of study using predictive analytics and social media feeds, Twitter and Facebook and tag clouds of various kinds, to read what groups of people, what different demographic groups of people are thinking about trends, cultural trends, and to get out ahead of them and predict what's going to be the next big thing socially. I'm involved in a program at Stanford called the Media X program, and it has a bunch of scholars that are just focusing on that very question. So if you do a Google search or whatever your favorite search engine that you want to use might be, you can look at predictive analytics and social media, and you'll find a big body of material on that very question. Really good question.
Последние два вопроса, если можно.
We do want to get back to this gentleman before we're done.
Okay.
We have maybe 5 minutes?
Something like this. I would suggest 2 more questions.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, you've talked about the AI that's smart but not truly intelligent. But as a person who is familiar with the cutting-edge technology, what do you think about the possibility of the true self-aware artificial intelligence, and what would be the crucial steps for obtaining it?
Good question. So I do think that we have smart systems like Watson that are intelligent. They just don't have our kind of intelligence. And I think that with regard to the question of what do we need to build still, there's a lot of work to do. And part of that work is about modeling the way that the brain thinks in hierarchies, and the way the brain classifies in hierarchies and generalizes and makes analogical leaps. And that kind of work is now more common. There are more people doing research in that area. And that's one path. Another path is through massive machine learning systems and predictive analytics. That's another path. And a third path is reverse engineering the brain with ever and ever finer sensory systems that can give us data on precisely how the brain works. A lot of people like to think, oh, the brain is shrouded in mystery, and it's this organ that has all these mystical properties. But in fact, eventually we will understand the brain like we understand the kidneys, or the heart. It will be something we actually understand how it works. And then we'll be able to use its principles of operation to reverse engineer it and build artificial brain systems.
Thanks.
Yeah. And this gentleman here wanted to follow up on this question. Yeah, we have 2. All right, we'll have 2 questions, but let's do them quickly.
Спасибо за лекцию большое, и вы предупреждали, что можно задавать вопросы как по лекции, так и, возможно, какие-то не личные, такие вопросы.
Yes.
Все вещи, о которых вы говорили на лекции, они безумны в какой-то степени. Ну, то есть они иногда выходят за грани понимания человеческого мозга. И у меня есть такой вопрос, пробовали вы когда-либо наркотики?
I don't think that drugs are actually a great pathway for understanding the systems. I don't think they're a reliable pathway. I realize that many people have used drugs, and Steve Jobs among them, have gotten some insights from using drugs. I have no doubt about that. But I think as a reliable pathway to insight, there are more reliable methods, and there are alternatives that are both safer, healthier, and actually more effective in producing deep insights. And let's take this last question.
Спасибо большое. Вы говорили, что по поводу того, что мы используем данные технологии в данный момент. Но, как вы, наверное, знаете, существует очень большое разделение между, скажем так, богатыми и бедными странами. Существуют страны третьего мира, которые технологии не используют. Большая часть стран Африки, которые эти технологии не используют. И вопрос был, скажем так, я его немного уточню. Когда эти технологии дойдут до тех стран, которые в данный момент эти технологии могут не использовать? Вот в чем вопрос. Скажем так.
Yeah, well, I actually think that these technologies have already reached developing countries in various ways. Let me give you a few examples. It now is common for people in developing countries to have a cell phone. They don't own their own, they have one in a group of people. And the reason for that is they've become very, very cheap. And they've become part of the economic equation, even for poor farmers, to set the price of their crops using SMS technology. So if you look at Frontline SMS, a website called Frontline SMS that's run by a guy named Ken Banks, you'll see that all over the world people are using simple technologies that run off of cell phone technology and getting some value out of that. And in fact, crops that are grown that have vitamin D in it are genetically engineered crops. There are people all over the developing world that are eating those crops that have some vitamin D built into them. There are many examples of AI being used in systems that are in cities, not always in the countryside, but are being used in a variety of ways. And certainly AIs will be used to deliver education in the developing world. And I think that is the frontier of exponential technologies transforming the developing world. The combination of mobile technologies that are becoming increasingly cheap, these $35 slate computers, like a mini iPad, those will be given away just to sell people things, like razor blades. And in fact, those systems are going to deliver amazing educational experiences to people all over the world. So I think we will see these technologies trickle down, and the reason is that the cost is going down in an exponential curve. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.